Hey, I'm out here, you guys, with Kevin Schieferstein from Inspect It, and he agreed to meet with me about home inspections. What advice do you have for a home buyer getting a home inspection?
Well, I suggest that you probably shop around a bit, maybe interview 2 or 3 people.
Okay.
Check their prices out, see what their qualifications are, see how long they've been doing it.
Is there any kind of licensing now for a home inspection?
There is. There's a state licensing since 2005.
Okay.
So prior to that, anybody could do home inspections, which wasn't so good. Now, like I said, since 2005, you have to get a license every 2 years and do continuing education.
So Kevin, you said to check the prices. What can a buyer expect to pay?
I would say that a typical home inspection, a good median price is somewhere in the $250 range. And sometimes the price will go up a bit with age. Older homes are a little more time invasive, and if you have a crawl space involved. I know personally I charge a little bit more for crawl spaces because
it's crawl down in there.
Physically, I try to get in those to make sure nothing's going on. Now the biggest thing you're looking for is leakage down there. Plumbing. A lot of these homes they've got a plumbing leak down there for 15 years and nobody even knows it.
Yeah.
But 250 is a pretty good medium, and I think you'll get a fluctuation probably maybe within $50 either way of that. So we have had some updates here with both the water heater and the furnace.
What's that tank there, the Aquatech?
This is a water softener. If you're on Fort Wayne water, Fort Wayne has excellent water, no softener needed. Some of the other systems, Aqua, for example, or if you get in the Huntertown area, the water has a lot of mineral in it, so most people have a softener on it to filter the mineral out. If not, you're going to be replacing these more. This is the filter. This particular piece here is just a tank of beads, so to speak, that filters the hardness out. This tank here is the brine tank. This is where the salt water is produced. That's why you have to put the salt in there. And then periodically, these are set with a timer, and it'll pump the salt water through that and clean that tank.
Gotcha. All right. A couple of final questions. One, who actually contacts you to do the home inspection?
Most generally, it's the buyer. They're supposed to make the decision, so there's no thought of collusion or anything. Although, like I said earlier, it's a good idea if you trust your realtor to listen to them because they do this every day. And they, like I said, they know who to trust and who is good. But ultimately, the buyer makes the decision
and
who to choose.
Does the realtor usually come, or the buyer? Or who's usually at the home inspection?
The buyers probably are here 80% of the time. Realtors, some offices, they vary. I know some offices, they don't want the realtors there. Some realtors come for the whole inspection. I would say a majority of the realtors kind of come for maybe a partial part of it. The latter stage of the inspection, so they can kind of see, hey, what do we need to respond to here? What's going on, and make sure their buyer's happy with everything.
We said the buyer's here about 80% of the time, so they get to see what you're doing and what you're finding.
Yes, yeah. A lot of people really want to watch, so they can learn, and if they have questions, they can ask right then instead of trying to call me later on the phone and looking at a report.
What happens if you do find something? Let's say the furnace is not working. What happens then?
Well, there's kind of 2 categories of things that we find. One side is what we call major/safety violations. So a major violation is a little bit of a gray area, but I think for the most part, it's anything that affects the livability of the house. Okay. Such as a furnace that doesn't work, a water heater that's leaking, any kind of plumbing leak, a roof leak. Something as trivial as a cover off an outlet would fall into that because of the safety implications.
Gotcha.
The minor maintenance side of things would be more like, hey, the gutters need cleaned, or you got some peeling paint on the outside, or things that are, you should know about them. They're maintenance related, but they're not really going to affect the livability of the house.
And then the realtor and the buyer are going to negotiate then with the seller, right? It's not up to you if the seller fixes it.
No, I stay out of that, thank God. I give them a report. Generally, that's sent through an email to the buyer's agent. Sometimes the buyer getter, they'll just forward it on, and then the buyer sits down with his agent, looks at my report, and then you respond to it. There's a time frame. There's so many days they need to respond to that report and ask the seller, hey, we'd like you to do this, this, and this. Generally, I think it works out pretty good. Every now and then, it's like anything else.
Right.
You get into a little bit of a tug of war, but I think for the most part, everyone wants to keep the process moving.
All right. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for taking the time. And if somebody wanted a home inspection, they want to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
Best way to get a hold of me is call me at area code 260-433-1540.
Say it one more time so they get it.
It's 260-433-1540. The company is Inspect-It.
Inspect-It. All right. And then I forgot to ask you this. What's your range? We're in Fort Wayne, but...
I pretty much, 50-mile radius. I go up to the lake.
Okay, good. Well, Kevin, I know you got a lot of house to inspect here. I don't want to take any more of your time, but thanks again for schooling us.
You're welcome.